Hi, and today I'll be reviewing this Pagani Huayra Roadster. I've had it for about a week now, so I would say I've gotten rather familiar with it, so I can review it now. Here's the top of the box. You have a Pagani logo, very neat. The box is a bit gray. Do like this color because it just feels a bit more unique. This is really cool. You get a screwdriver. What's that on my hand? You get a screwdriver with a spare screwdriver head. That is a very small one. Could it possibly focus? No. Well, there's a small screwdriver head for the car if you want to open up the car and repair it. And you got a bigger one for unscrewing the car from the box, which I have already done. There are screws on the bottom of the box. Here is the screwdriver. Now that is really neat. That is probably, I'm assuming, the gear shifter in the Pagani Huayra Roadster. Now, I don't have a car like that, so, well, clearly I don't. And then this opens up, and that's your car. Obviously, this isn't my first impression, but my first impression was like, holy shit, this is cool. So, let's pop it out. And when you do open it for the first time, there will be a lot of paper on the car between the doors and all the creaks, like there should be, so don't worry about that. There's more paper on the bottom. So that's the headlights. Now that is very beautiful. Do a little zoom in. They didn't do the best of jobs with the bulbs themselves. Like, they could be more detailed, that's for sure, but I really like the carbon fiber around it. It's nice to see some legit looking carbon fiber. Now that is not textured plastic or anything like that. It's polished. A lot of the things on this car are polished carbon fiber, so like it's actually impressive. It's a lot more than you would imagine. That splitter, front splitter, that's carbon fiber. Well, I don't actually know if it's carbon fiber, but it is definitely nice and textured. It's polished, it's glossy. It just feels more premium than your textured plastic, that's for sure. You've got a lot more textured, well no, you've got a lot more glossy carbon fiber here. We'll just call them carbon fiber for now, so I don't have to correct myself every single time. There is the engine. Well, there is a lot more where that came from. You can see a lot more than that. In the camera, the paint looks a bit yellow. That is definitely how, like, not how it looks in real life. In real life, it would not look yellowish. I can assure you that. The paint on this car is phenomenal. I can assure you that as well. We have some mesh here, a lot of mesh on this car. Like, I can't find a single vent on this car which doesn't have mesh in it. And this mesh, you can see through it, obviously. You can see the rods. It's very premium. It is not what you expect for $150. Here's the back. You can zoom in on that. You can kind of see there is detail inside, and it is really nice how much effort they put in. All this here, and that's also very nice. It's all polished carbon fiber, so no cheap textured plastic for you. Even this little bit here, all that's textured, and you can see very cool mesh. You can look in there, you can see the exhaust pipes. I mean, that's just cool. And the exhaust pipe itself is very good looking. Now, I have two chips here, one chip here and one chip here. That's my own problem. It's not to blame the model or the seller. That's the Pagani logo there. And a fog light down at the bottom. So that's cool as well. Now this is textured plastic. In fact, the whole chassis is, but I mean, I can't complain. The amount of carbon fiber on this thing is just ridiculous. Here's the sides. There is your wheel. The wheel moves with the brake calipers like it should. And you can see, well, not the brake calipers, the brake discs. You can see the brake caliper there. Now there is like another secondary brake caliper or a handbrake or whatever you call it off to the side. You can kind of see it. like beside the huge blue brake caliper. I can't point it because I'm holding my camera with my other hand, but you can see how much effort they put into the wheels. You can see the rims are blue and the brake calipers are blue as well. Now keep that in mind. The rims are obviously gold with a little thing where you put in air. It's quite detailed as well. That thing will be broken very easily, so keep that in mind. Vents here, that's a hollow vent. Like, you can look into it, you will just see an abyss, like my heart. Another vent here, which I just don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like lifting the car up again. That's a vent as well. Now I can actually kind of demonstrate this. Also, the roof comes off because it's obviously a Roadster. And you can kind of see, yeah, the vent is hollow. So, there it is. Point proven. The front wheels do turn as well, but it's only to like a minimal extent. Like, that is ridiculously minimal. And I mean, it is linked with the steering wheel, but there is no point. And back at the front, I forgot to mention the whole of the front section of the car. So, running lights, you can see my cables. Running lights or something. You've got real mesh as well. You can actually look up this mesh at the fan. It is hollow. It's just my camera quality is trash. Now, the mesh on the sides have some silvery stuff behind it. Now, because my camera is trash, you can't see. Well, you can barely see, but there is silvery stuff behind it. That's supposed to be the radiator, so. Okay, I can see some leather straps. Now, these are rubber, but in the real car, that would be leather. Also, mirrors do have reflective stickers on it. Pagani logo here. Let me just focus. You can't see because of the glare. Yep, Pagani logo. And the wipers. Really nice. And also, the front spoilers or flaps, they pop up. Same goes for the back. We'll cover that later. You can see inside you've got some fans and a nice rod to add just some, some stuff into the car. Otherwise, it's just ugly. Let's pull this open. And you've got smooth carbon fiber all the way that envelops this canopy here. But all this is just plastic. But it is still really nice to see all the fans. Now, on the other side, you've got some stuff as well. Some sort of fuel or fluid thing with a pipe that leads down, and another fuel or fluid thing. I don't know what those are. Coolant. Definitely not engine oil, that would be at the back. So there is the front of the car. You can also see a bit of the suspension or steering column here. Okay. So let's take a look at the inside. Now the inside is just stunning. Like, they did a really good job. It's all plastic. Like, don't make any mistake. It's not like premium material, but they did really good with plastic, and it looks really nice. A really good color combination with the kind of grayish tan. So there's your doors. Let me kind of get a better view on that. The red knob thing is the door lock, the door handle. They even have texture on the storage cubby on the bottom. And the speakers are mesh. Well, they're not real mesh, but at least it's textured. So that is a good touch. Let me just change position here. Seats, you've got the seat adjusters, which I always thought was some sort of drain for your, you know what I'm talking about. And you got your seatbelt buckles and seat belts, which are metal. That is surprising. So let's just see. There are your seat belts. You can't really tell, but those behind the chair or the seat, those. Inconspicuous, but they are a fine detail. Luggage and speakers, more smooth carbon fiber Pagani logo, and some random storage cubbies represented those very nicely as well. All this center console is just smooth, polished carbon fiber. I like that. I dig that. That's your gear shifter, stick shift. Although it's not a manual, it's an automatic, but you know, you get what you get. The stick shift automatic. So there's the bottom of that. You can see they attempted to replicate the Pagani steering gear shifter magic thing. They tried, they attempted, they didn't succeed, but they attempted, and that gave it a good touch, so that's good. Pagani logos on the door sills. I don't know what that is, but there is a bit of, I don't know what that is. That isn't me, so that is maybe one of the only disappointments about this car. Speakers on the floor, they do have mesh as well, the same as the speakers on the door. And you can see the air conditioning vents, really nice as well. They are hollow, and there are sort of flakes that divide each column up like in the real thing. There is your center console, or rather infotainment screen, toggle switches. They didn't do the best they could for this section, so that's one of the disappointments as well. I can't speak. I've been speaking too much. But the same cannot be said for the steering section. Like, look at that steering wheel and the gauges behind it. There are actual numbers on that, but I can't read them because they're just microscopic. So that's that. Very nice. And here is the engine. Now that you lift it up and then you push it forwards and you lift it up more, you can tell the vents are just hollow from here. And they kind of lock onto the exhaust, which is not a good idea for the paint, but mine's already scraped, so. There's your storage cubbies with luggage. Those can come out, but it's a real hassle. Now, obviously, the storage cubbies are polished carbon fiber. And now this is just crazy. The engine is just magnificent. Like, Pagani engine has always been a work of art. And they replicated it. It's quite nice. You can see the label on that little knob there, or cover. They put in as much detail as to put that in. That makes me really happy. And the back, you can see the exhaust. Beautiful. Your gearbox down here. It's down there, but you can see the silvery bits. Oops, that wasn't good. There's even mesh. Okay, this cover is freaking with me. There's even mesh for, you can see this section here, this gray, dark gray section. There's mesh on that. They didn't just put like a piece of plastic there. There's real mesh, you can see. And that's just a really nice touch. And let's see. What else is there to talk about in this thing? Oh yes, now this is another problem. The engine flap will not stay open. Okay. There is real active suspension. You can see those springs. Obviously horizontal suspension. They're also individual suspension. Let me just, I cannot focus. Okay, well. Individual. For flaps, that is one, and that is another. So, those are the other spoiler flaps. Now, that is what I was going to talk about. You can see, if you still remember, the wheels on the other side were gold rimmed, and you had blue tires and blue calipers. This is red, white, and silver. So obviously, I mean, they couldn't have made that mistake. How can you make a mistake like that? So it's obviously not a mistake. And I'm done with this video now. Okay. I'm tired. There's the car. There's the box. Bye.